understand what you're saying.
Scena masakra u olimpijskom selu u Minhenu u istoimenom filmu iz 2005. Pola veka od ovog napada koji je otvorio novu eru na političkoj i bezbednosnoj mapi Evrope i sveta. Terorizam je ušao u filmove, serije, knjige, videoigre i sve oblasti umetnosti. Na temu ovog panela poslušat ćemo mini intervju koju smo uradili ove nedelje. Razgovor smo vodili sa Shaulom Ladanyjem, koji je rođen u Beogradu 1936. godine. Preživeo je bombardovanje 1941. i logor Bergen-Belsen, a 1972. kao izraelski olimpijac bio je u paviljonu kada su upali palestinski teroristi. Color Media Communications i ambasada Izraela doveli su Shaula na Beogradski maraton 2018. i to je bila njegova prva poseta Srbiji nakon 1948. kada se sa porodicom iselio u Izrael. Kolega Žikica Milošević razgovarao je ove nedelje sa Shaulom i evo njegovog svedočanstva o događajima u Minhenu 1972.
Today we have a great pleasure to have a special guest speaking to us from Israel, his homeland. This is Shaul Ladany. He was a Yugoslav Jew before the World War II, and then he moved to the newly born state of Israel when it formed after the Second World War. Then he became a famous sportsman and participated in the Olympic Games, at the Olympic Games even in 1972, which were notorious Olympic Games because in 1972 in Munich, what happened was the darkest hour of the Olympic Games because the Palestinian terrorists attacked Israeli sportsmen and killed several people and made a great international scandal with many casualties. We're here with the witness of the event, Mr. Shaul Ladany, and he will going to talk for our book talk conference, his experiences and feelings and thoughts about this unfortunate event. First of all, Shaul, welcome to book talk conference. First of all, I would like to ask you about the event. How did you feel about the event? What happened according to your perspective?
Just as a prelude, I have been 2 weeks ago, I attended in Munich the 50th anniversary memorial event there. A sad moment, and it was even sadder for me because the day before, on the 4th of September, I attended the postponed 77th anniversary of the liberation of the Bergen-Belsen concentration camp, and I was also a survivor there. And not only that, yesterday in Israel, according to the Hebrew calendar, was the 50th anniversary event for the same 50th anniversary of that awful terrorist attack in Munich, attended by the president of the International Olympic Committee, who is a German resident. Now I remember on 5th of September 72, at once somebody has awakened me and told me that Moshe Weinberg was killed by Arabs. Just 4 hours before that, I landed him, that Moshe Weinberg landed him upon his request my alarm clock, because he said that he has to awaken one of his athletes in apartment 3 in order to take him for weighing. The coach, Muni, was residing in apartment 1, and I sandwiched between these two apartments in apartment 2. So as I heard, and I really did not fully understand the meaning of it and the horror of it and the danger of it, I just went in the pajamas through the corridor to the entrance door of my apartment, which opened to the inside, and stood there. There was no war scenery, but I understood that something is going on. About 4.5 meters to the right of me, somebody was standing fully dressed with a hat, dark skin, and he looked straight ahead. He did not turn his face to the left, otherwise he would have seen me. And he was talking to the guards about 8 meters in front of him, among them 2 women, the guards of the Olympic Village, unarmed. One of the women asked him to allow the Red Cross to enter and provide aid to somebody, and he refused. And that lady tried still to convince him and said, "You should be humane." And he replied, "The Jews are not humane either." I understood that something is going on from that conversation. I retreated. Later on, I found out that was Issa, the head of the terrorist group. I climbed the 2nd floor of my apartment with the inner spiral staircase. All the other 5 from my apartment were already dressed, assembled there. And when I asked what happened, somebody has just pointed through the front window down on the floor at the entrance to apartment 1. The dark stain is from the blood of Muni, and that his body was laying there before, and it was already taken away. And then we all went down to my 1st floor bedroom on the rear side of the building. One of them just opened the sliding glass door on the rear side and started to run away on zigzag through the narrow terrace and the lawn, and the others followed. In the meantime, I was dressing up my training suit above the pajama, and when all the rest escaped, I decided not to escape, but to warn the chief of the mission in apartment 5. And I went there along the rear side of the building, knocked on his glass door. He let me in. He made some calls to warn the heads of the Israeli Olympic team, and then we left the building, and we got on the sliding lawn down to the basement level, and there we met already real policemen armed, and when they heard that we are from the Israeli team, they have told us to go to the headquarters of the Olympic Village. We were interrogated there, and after the interrogation, the rest from my apartment, they all stayed there. I went out, went to the American team. They got me shaving gear, walked to the cordon that the police put around our place of lodging, and spoke with people and told them what I knew and the theories, how it might have happened that the terrorists appeared to apartment 3 together with that money, that there he was already wounded in his chest, and keeping his his hand with a handkerchief over his face, and the blood is flowing. And he later on, we knew that he was killed, and the terrorists were holding both the coaches, referees from apartment 1 and the athletes from apartment 3, all in apartment 1. And then there was the question faced by the Germans, what to do. They took on their responsibility to try to rescue the Israeli hostages. They did not want that again Jewish blood should be spilled over German territory.
Yes, but I'll ask you one thing. It was really catastrophic for the German image at the time, because in 1972 Munich, they wanted to show that Germany in 1972, West Germany, is not the same Germany that organized the Olympic Games in 1936. It's not a Nazi Germany, it's very democratic Germany, and it's very peaceful Germany and friendly and everything. But what happened is that once again in Germany, the Jewish blood was spilled. So it was really stressful for German image, but it must have been stressful for you because you come to Germany in 1972 after you were liberated from the concentration camp, and a Holocaust Shoah happened. And then once again, Germany is a place where the Jews are being killed. It's really traumatic. How traumatic was it for you? And do you attribute this event to demilitarization of Germany, because they had really weak army, and I believe they had really peaceful police forces, and they were not at all organized as Israel, for example, with Mossad and police and everything. So the Black September terrorist group just went through German security like through the cheese. It's really shocking. Can you explain me that part of your feelings, and what do you think about that aspect of the attack and the tragedy?
It's clear that that was a shock to the Germans, and therefore they took on the responsibility. But by trying to deal with the terrorists, they did not want to do that under the scrutiny of the huge amount of the media that was concentrated there. So therefore, whatever they try to do it not with the attention of the media outside the Olympic Village, though the best rescue operation could have been done in the Olympic Village. But then, there was that huge concentration of the media. Then the second thing, indeed, the Germans were limited first by their laws that the use of military should have been decided by the Bundestag, and there was no time for that, so they had to use whatever they were able to use by the police of Bavaria. Then that's the awful thing. They had a pride. They were very proud, and they did not want to accept assistance by Israel. Israel that had a lot of experience, and they even prepared immediately a task force that was prepared to flow there 4 hours. So maybe in 5 hours they might have been at the Olympic Village, and to deal with the situation. Only 4 months before, or in May, they succeeded to neutralize terrorists in a Sabena airplane that landed in Tel Aviv. So, but the German pride was, no, we can do it alone. We don't need anybody else. Not only that, did not accept physical aid. They did not want to accept the suggestions, recommendations by the Israeli experts. So they wanted to do it by themselves. And then they made so many mistakes. They did not count first what they were willing to play a double play to agree seemingly with the terrorists that they will fly them with their hostages in an airplane to an Arab country, and at the same time they planned a forced release, but outside of the Olympic Village in the evening. So they quasi agreed to with the terrorists, that the terrorists were taken with 2 buses from the Olympic Village, from Connolly Street, where they stayed, to an open place in the middle of the Olympic Village, where 2 helicopters landed, and to fly them to a near small military airport, and there to make the ambush. And they believe that there are 4 or 5 terrorists, and when the terrorists with the hostages embarked on the helicopters, I saw that from the 7th floor or so, from the headquarters of the Olympic Village. It was easily possible to count the number of terrorists and to convey that message to the ambush. And there were 8 terrorists. Then for the first or the next thing would have been when there have been 2 helicopters. As they started to fly, they should have been flown to different places. To make 2 different ambushes, it's much easier to deal with the smaller forces. Then they did not prepare enough persons at that airport, all volunteers with arms, without the possibility to have aiming devices in the darkness, and insufficient number of manpower. They did not have there at that time any armed vehicles. And then the really important point, and which was found only 20 years after what really happened, is by whistleblowers, but with documents, that they prepared their a Boeing airport that quasi should have flown the terrorists with the hostages, and they planned in the airplane to have a commando unit so that when the terrorists enter the airplanes, the terrorist unit will face them and deal with them. And there was a group of German commandos inside the airplane, and they discussed among themselves the situation. They came to the conclusion it's too dangerous from themselves, too dangerous, and they were cowards. Possibly if the hostages would have been Germans and not Jews, they might have behaved differently. But as they came to the conclusion it's too dangerous from themselves, they left the airplane without informing the commanders, cowards. And so when the helicopters landed, two of the terrorists went to inspect the airplane. They found that it is empty. They realized that it's an ambush, and then the shooting started. And now it's unimportant to describe the way the shooting went on. It took a long time until the Germans have ordered armored vehicles. Few hours it took until the armored vehicles arrived. Additional shooting period. All the hostages, the 9 hostages, two of the Israelis were killed already in the Olympic Village by the terrorists. 9 of the hostages were killed. Most of them by hand grenades that were thrown by the terrorists in the last minutes in the airplanes. The hostages were not only tied to each other, but they were tied to their places in the helicopter. So they all died. 5 of the terrorists were killed. 3 of them were captured, and 1 of the German volunteer policemen was also killed. And that's not all. Then, according to rumors, there are no yet published documents, but the first publications in British media was that the terrorists have hijacked a German Lufthansa airplane with German passengers, and in a deal between the terrorists, the Black September organization, and the German government. The German government released the 3 of the terrorists from the attack there at the Olympic Village. The Black September have promised first release the German hostages, and promised, and that was really a deal, a fabricated deal for really I would say industrial peace. That the terror promised that the Arab terrorists will not hurt in the future German interests, neither on German soil nor at any other place. And obviously this was hidden from the public. This is what we say, a way that many governments behave. We heard
yes, there is
after that some of the documents from the German archives got public after 50 years, that the German government even provided pension to the families of the killed terrorists of Munich. Unbelievable. So obviously,
Really
I have
unbelievable.
reasons not to be very happy with the handling of the German government.
Oh, definitely. One more thing, we have like a few minutes left, and I wanted to ask you about the aftermath of the event. And there was a public outcry in Israel because of what happened. And after that, what happened is that Mossad organized a special operation called the Wrath of God, where they tried to hunt down and kill all the surviving members of the Black September that were involved with the terrorist attack in Munich. Can you tell us in a few minutes what happened after that? What you know?
Israel, the government of Israel decided that all those that planned the attack on the Israeli Olympic team, despite the centuries-long taboo from the time of ancient times that during the Olympic Games, there is no violence, there is a truce. That was a taboo. And when Baron Pierre de Coubertin started the modern Olympic Games, that type of taboo continued. It was broken by these Arab terrorists on 5th of September 72. So Israel decided to punish all those that planned the attack in order to prevent any additional attacks on Israeli interests anywhere. And unfortunately, in one case, there was an error in Norway, and in a few cases, there were some innocent family members also hurt, but generally, all of them were punished. And from the three of the terrorists that were released by Germany, one is somewhere still hiding. I hope that he will also soon meet his forefathers.
Very traumatic, very bad experience, very, very tragic for you and for Israeli state and sportsmen and public. Thank you, Shaul, for being a part of the Book Talk conference and telling us the first-hand experience about the tragic terrorist attack of the Black September in Munich in September 1972. 50 years have passed, but the wounds are still relatively open. Thank you, Shaul, and see you in some other opportunity, during some other opportunity.